Micromanagement stems from fear, and leaders who micromanage typically have three distinct fears: fear of punishment, fear of failure, and fear of not being good enough. Today, I'm going to focus on the fear of punishment. So if you're a leader who's struggled with micromanagement in the past, you've gotten some feedback there, you're a little controlling, this video is going to be for you. Micromanagement stems out of fear. That fear of punishment sometimes can come from the top down or from the outside in. So whether it's at work or from family, there is a fear that if something goes wrong, you're on the chopping block. Now, as humans, we suffer with the human condition, and we naturally tend to externalize our problems. So instead of saying, how can I do something differently, or how can I motivate my staff, I look to my staff to fix the problem and the stress that I'm experiencing. For example, you think that productivity numbers are too low. Instead of looking internally and saying, how can I help motivate my staff to do better? How can I put consequences for staff that's not performing? I look to the staff and externalize the problem. It's your fault and it's your problem. Therefore, I need to watch every single movement that you do to ensure that you're doing your job. Because if you don't, I'm the one who's going to get punished. It's that very fear of punishment that drives micromanagers to break apart their teams, to create this self-fulfilling prophecy of team members who aren't doing their jobs. Because when you're looking at them 24/7, you're bound to find examples of when people aren't doing their jobs. And instead of looking at general expectations, you start looking at minute details of things that aren't being completed or aren't being completed to your standards. For example, you don't like word choice in emails, or you're struggling to figure out why a staff member did something in a particular way. And instead of talking to them about it, you start watching how they do everything. Micromanagement is a dangerous pitfall for leaders. So if you're struggling with that fear of punishment, I want you to take the outside and put it back inside. Instead of looking to staff and trying to control what they're doing, look into what you can do to motivate the right outcomes in your staff. If productivity is the problem, if there's somebody who's having problems on the team is a problem, how are you going to encourage their behavior? We're not our staff's parents. And micromanagers tend to take on a very parental role with staff members. And staff members will behave accordingly, like children. So if you want better performance out of your teams, set those expectations, have those consequences and boundaries for when they're not performing. And also, how do you encourage those staff members to meet the productivity levels, to do their job? Instead of micromanaging, look for other ways that you can get what you want, but don't have to spend all day worrying about if they're at their computer because you know they're just wiggling their mouse, or if they're taking a 2-hour lunch, or because it doesn't really matter. All that matters is that the projects get done and that you aren't on the chopping block. So, leaders who are afraid of punishment, first, internalize. Second, communicate. Micromanagers often fail to communicate the fear that they're experiencing. And instead of saying like, hey, guys, if this project sucks, if it goes terribly, I am going to lose my job, we micromanage. So instead of communicating the difficult message, sometimes the honest message, or even the fearful message, we prevent our staff from having a clear, transparent picture of what's going on. Instead, they think you're crazy and they complain about you. They go to HR, you're the micromanager that nobody wants to work for. Communication is key. Not only communication to your team, but to the people above you. When they're saying, hey, if you don't get this done, XYZ, ask clarifying questions. If my team does X, that means if I fail, are you saying that I'm going to lose my job? Because sometimes we're interpreting messages from the people above us that aren't really the messages that they're sending us. So by asking clarifying questions, we can also help clarify and identify the anxiety that we're having in order to prevent micromanaging behavior. Because Lord knows, if you become a micromanager, your team will not perform. They will do worse, they will leave, and they will complain about you. So, to my leaders struggling with micromanagement, it's okay. Let's face that fear of punishment together and get through it to be a productive boss that people like, people want to work for, and people want to produce under. I'm Kristin Martinez, an expert in systems theory, and I help leaders and organizations address problems using this stable method of leadership. Like and subscribe for more videos like these.